In the next few minutes, we're going to tackle the ultimate showdown, rugby versus American football. We'll cover everything from field dimensions and player counts to scoring systems and tackle rules. By the end of this video, you'll be able to spot the differences between these sports like a pro. Ready to kick off this comparison? Let's start with the basics. Rugby is played on a larger field, measuring about 122 to 134 yards long and 74 to 76 yards wide. American football fields are smaller, exactly 100 yards long and 53.13 yards wide. Both sports aim to score points by advancing the ball into the opponent's end zone, but the way they do it is quite different. One key difference is in how the game flows. Rugby features continuous play, with the action rarely stopping. American football, on the other hand, has a stop-start nature, with plays ending frequently. This difference affects everything from player stamina to game strategy. Additionally, rugby has two main variations: rugby union with 15 players per team and rugby league with 13 players per team. American football teams consist of 11 players on the field at a time. Both sports share a common ancestor in medieval European football, but they've evolved in distinct ways. As we go through this video, we'll explore more complex differences in rules and strategy. You'll see how these seemingly similar sports can offer such different experiences for players and fans alike. Now, let's gear up and take a closer look at the equipment and player roles in rugby and American football. One of the most striking differences between these sports is the protective gear used by the players. In American football, players are decked out in extensive protective equipment. They wear helmets with face masks, shoulder pads, and various other padding to protect their bodies during the intense physical contact of the game. This gear is essential due to the high-impact nature of the sport, with frequent collisions and tackles. Rugby players, on the other hand, take a different approach. They typically wear minimal protective gear, usually just a mouth guard and sometimes light padding on the shoulders or head. This lack of heavy protection might seem surprising, but it's actually a key aspect of the sport's strategy and culture. The absence of hard protective gear encourages players to use safer tackling techniques and helps maintain the continuous flow of the game. The balls used in each sport also have some notable differences. The rugby ball is oval-shaped and slightly larger than an American football. It measures about 22.8 to 24 inches in circumference, while an American football is about 28 inches around. Both balls weigh around 15 ounces, but the air pressure differs. American footballs are typically inflated to 12.5 to 13.5 pounds per square inch, while rugby balls are inflated to 9.5 to 10 pounds per square inch. These differences in ball shape and size affect how the game is played. The rugby ball's shape makes it easier to pass laterally or backward, which is crucial in rugby where forward passes are not allowed. The American football's slightly more pointed shape and laces make it better suited for long, accurate forward passes, a key element of the American game. When it comes to player roles, American football and rugby take very different approaches. American football features highly specialized positions. You have quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, and linemen on offense, each with a specific job. On defense, there are cornerbacks, safeties, linebackers, and defensive linemen, again, each with distinct responsibilities. This specialization allows players to focus on perfecting specific skills needed for their position. Rugby, in contrast, requires more versatility from its players. While there are designated positions like forwards and backs, all players need to be able to run with the ball, pass, tackle, and support their teammates. This versatility is necessary because of the continuous nature of play in rugby, where the action doesn't stop after each tackle as it does in American football. These differences in equipment and player roles have a significant impact on the overall strategy of each game. The specialized positions in American football allow for complex plays and strategies, while the versatility required in rugby leads to a more fluid, adaptable style of play. Now that we've covered the basics and equipment, let's dive into the heart of the action, the rules and scoring. This is where rugby and American football really start to show their unique personalities. Let's start with how the ball moves in each game. In rugby, there's a fundamental rule that shapes the entire flow of the game. You can only pass the ball backward or laterally. Forward passes are strictly forbidden. This creates a unique dynamic where players must constantly position themselves behind the ball carrier to receive a pass. It's like a constant dance of support and teamwork. American football, on the other hand, allows forward passes. This opens up a whole new dimension of play, with long, arcing throws, downfield becoming a key strategy. It's this forward pass that often creates those highlight reel moments we associate with the sport. When it comes to scoring, both games have multiple ways to put points on the board, but the systems differ significantly. In rugby, the primary way to score is called a try, worth 5 points. This happens when a player touches the ball down in the opponent's in-goal area. After a try, teams can attempt a conversion, kicking the ball through the uprights for an additional 2 points. American football's main scoring play is the touchdown, worth 6 points. Like rugby's try, this involves getting the ball into the end zone, but you don't need to touch it down. After a touchdown, teams can kick an extra point or attempt a 2-point conversion. Both sports also have field goals, where points are scored by kicking the ball through the uprights. In rugby, these are called penalty goals or drop goals, while in American football, they're simply field goals. One of the biggest differences between the two sports is the concept of downs in American football. Teams get 4 attempts or downs to advance the ball 10 yards. If they succeed, they get a new set of downs. If they fail, they typically turn the ball over to the other team. This creates a strategic element of risk management and decision-making on every play. Rugby, in contrast, has continuous possession. The ball is in play until someone scores, it goes out of bounds, or a rule is broken. This leads to a more fluid, back-and-forth style of play, where possession can change hands rapidly. Tackling rules also differ significantly between the two sports. In rugby, when a player is tackled, they must release the ball, making it available for both teams to contest. This keeps the game dynamic and unpredictable. In American football, a tackle ends the play entirely, allowing teams to reset and plan their next move. These differences in rules create 2 distinct gameplay experiences. Rugby is a continuous, flowing game where adaptability and endurance are key. Players need to be ready to switch from offense to defense in an instant. American football, with its stop-start nature and specialized positions, is more like a high-intensity chess match, with each play meticulously planned and executed. Now that we've covered the rules and scoring, let's zoom out and look at the big picture. How do these differences shape the overall strategy and global impact of rugby and American football? In rugby, the continuous play and versatile player roles lead to a more fluid, adaptable strategy. Teams must be prepared to switch between offense and defense rapidly, with players making split-second decisions based on the ever-changing situation on the field. The inability to pass forward means teams often use intricate running patterns and lateral passes to advance the ball, creating a unique ebb and flow to the game. American football, with its stop-start nature and specialized positions, allows for more complex pre-planned strategies. Each play is like a mini-battle, with coaches and players using the breaks between plays to analyze the situation and choose the best course of action. The ability to pass forward opens up a whole range of offensive possibilities, while the defensive team must predict and counter these varied attacks. These strategic differences reflect the distinct cultures and values of each sport. Rugby emphasizes continuity, teamwork, and adaptability, while American football showcases specialization, tactical planning, and explosive plays. When it comes to global impact, both sports have significant followings, but their reach varies. Rugby has a strong international presence, with the Rugby World Cup being one of the largest sporting events globally. It's particularly popular in countries like New Zealand, England, South Africa, and Australia, where it's deeply ingrained in the national culture. American football, while primarily popular in the United States, has been growing its international fan base. The Super Bowl, the championship game of the National Football League, NFL, is a global phenomenon, watched by millions around the world. It's not just a sporting event, it's a cultural spectacle, known for its halftime shows and high-profile commercials. It's worth noting that rugby isn't just one sport. There are actually 2 main codes, rugby union and rugby league. Rugby union is the more widely played version, and the one we've mainly been discussing. Rugby league, interestingly, shares some similarities with American football. It has a set number of tackles, similar to downs in American football, before possession is turned over, creating a more structured gameplay flow. Understanding these differences can greatly enhance your appreciation of both sports. When you watch rugby, you can marvel at the continuous action, the versatility of the players, and the quick thinking required to succeed. In American football, you can appreciate the strategic depth, the specialized skills of each position, and the high-stakes nature of each individual play. So there you have it, a comprehensive comparison of rugby and American football. Whether you're a fan of the continuous action and teamwork of rugby or the strategic depth and explosive plays of American football, both sports offer something unique and exciting.